Hi, boys and girls. It's so good to be with you. I hope you're all safe and well. So, how many of you have ever played the game of telephone? You know, where you whisper something in somebody's ear and then they whisper to somebody else and you go all around the circle, and then at the end, the person says what the original person said. How many of you played that game before? And how many times is the thing that was said at the beginning different from the end? Almost always. Well, when I was a little girl, my dad used to say, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. And what that means is, when you're talking about people, we call that gossip. When people talk about somebody that's not there, we call that gossip. And it's not usually kind to do that, but things change, and you don't always, when you're sharing something that you know about somebody, you don't always know the whole truth, and things can change very dramatically with just a little twist of the story. So just like in the game of telephone, sometimes that story, as we tell it from person to person to person, changes, and sometimes it can be hurtful. So we want to be mindful that we don't want to talk about people behind their backs. We would never want to do that. And that's what believe none of what you hear means. And then believe only half of what you see means, okay, let's say you walk up and your friends, they're in the middle of an argument. Now, you don't know what happened prior to that argument, do you? You've just walked in the middle of it. So you don't really understand everything that's happening. So believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see is a good way, a good philosophy to live by. But our story today is called What James Said. And it was written by Liz Rosenberg. And this is a great story and a great lesson about two really good friends. And this happens. There's some telephoning going along, and it really changes very quickly with just the twist of what was being said. So are you ready to listen to the story? I think you'll understand once we get started. I'm never talking to James again. We are in a fight. Okay, and you can see she's really upset. And here's her friend James. He's kind of being silly. James told Aiden, who tells everything to Hunter, and whispered it to Katie, who informed Dante, who told it to Emily, Anna, and Declan, and who let Declan's little sister in on it, who told me. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of people. Do you think what James told Aiden is going to be the same thing as what Declan's little sister tells her? Probably not. That I think I'm perfect. Well, I do not think I'm perfect. I have big feet and freckles, and my hair is plain brown. I'm not the best speller or the best at math. Okay, so she already believes what she's been told. Now, did she go to James and ask James? No, that probably would have been a better choice, wouldn't it? I'm okay at art, but I don't brag about it. I can't help it if the art teacher likes me. And she would like James better if he paid attention, if he wasn't always cracking jokes or trying to balance a feather when he's supposed to be gluing it, and if he wasn't always losing his markers or saying mean things behind his best friend's back. Okay, now she's assuming, again, because she listened to things that she just heard without asking James. So she's assuming that James is being unkind, right? What should she have done? Ask James. She should have gone right to James, but she didn't do that. She listened to what she heard. James and I used to be friends, but not anymore. I'm ignoring him. What's wrong? He asked this morning. I didn't sit next to him on the bus like I always do. I had to sit between two fifth graders. Okay, now poor James doesn't even understand why she's upset. He's trying to find out. He asks what's wrong, and you can see her face. She's angry, and she's believing what she's heard, which is something we shouldn't do. Are you feeling okay? He asked while we were hanging up our coats in our cubbies. I just shrugged. We have matching jackets with green turtles all over and bright green hoods. Tomorrow I'm going to wear a different coat to school. Okay, he's still trying to figure it out, and she doesn't even want to be friends. That's kind of extreme, isn't it? And they have their matching coats because that's what Beth's friends do. They like to wear the same things. She doesn't even want to wear the coat anymore. She should have talked to James. I'm not sure he knows we're in a fight. I sat with my girlfriends at lunch and I glared at him across the cafeteria. He came over and asked, "Do you have a stomach ache? Do you want me to walk you to the nurse?" "No, thank you," I said, and I went and threw my lunch into the trash. I wasn't even hungry then. Okay, so look who looks unhappy. She's still the unhappy one. She's so unhappy that she wasn't even hungry and she threw her trash out. And poor James is still trying to figure out what it is that's bothering her, but she won't talk. She won't use her assertive voice and explain it. Later, James slid a bag of my favorite chips onto my desk. I didn't eat them, well, at least not right away. And then he drew a funny picture of himself that almost made me laugh out loud. Oh, James, he's trying so hard. He's asking her what's wrong with her. He's trying to give her special treats to see if that makes her happy. He even makes a funny picture of himself to make her laugh. He really is a good friend, isn't he? Without James to talk to, the school day seemed to last forever. The clock didn't budge no matter how hard I stared at it. Yeah, when you're not happy, it seems like the day does go a little bit longer. Finally, we all marched down to the gym for art day. My picture of the beach was at the front of the room. "It's perfect," James said. I turned around. "What?" I said. "I think it's perfect," James said. "That's what I tell everyone." "Oh," I said. "Thank you." So here's the truth. He didn't say that she thought she was perfect. He told everyone that he thought her picture was perfect. And it was because he liked it and he was being a good friend. But she didn't think that, and now she finally knows. We could have solved this problem a lot easier if she would have just gone to James originally and asked him. But now she knows. Let's see if it changes the way she thinks about her friend James. I didn't hear my name until the art teacher called it out for the third time. She looked mad by the time I got up there. I understood how James felt. She's pretty strict. Then she handed me a blue ribbon and smiled. Best of show! Okay, so it took her 3 times to listen to the teacher who was calling her up to give her the ribbon. Why did it take 3? What was she thinking about? Well, she might have been thinking about, I've been really mean to my friend James, and James really is a good friend. So I think she's thinking hard about it. Everyone applauded, but James whistled. He's the best whistler in our grade by far. Somebody took my picture, and the principal shook my hand. Wow. Now she looks really happy, right? I couldn't wait to sit back down. I would rather draw all day than stand up in front of a bunch of people. James has the beach picture hanging in his room over his fish tank. He says the Siamese fighting fish likes the painting. I let him keep the blue ribbon that goes with it too. The ribbon used to say, "Best of show." So now look at the two friends. They're back to being buddies, so much so that she gave her best of show picture to James, and he's got it hanging up in his room. That's awesome. And now it says, oh, best of friends. And look at the picture that she's made. It's her and James on the beach together again, happy again. I love this story, boys and girls, because it explains why we should not listen to everything that's said to us. You know, sometimes it's good to go back to the source. So when she got the message that James had said that she was perfect, she probably would have benefited better if she had just gone to James and said, "James, did you say that I'm perfect, that I think I'm perfect?" Because James would have right away said, "No, I said your picture was perfect." See, communication is really important, especially when we go to the source. Well, I hope you enjoyed our story today, boys and girls. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye now.